Welcome to Selling Secrets, the show about action movies and spy films. Our mission is to look at the movies we love and go behind the scenes of what makes a successful action film. Each week, we'll take a deep dive into the filmmaking process, the marketing of Hollywood, and more. Do you know what it takes to make a Hollywood blockbuster successful? Let's find out together on Selling Secrets. Hello and welcome to the first ever episode of Selling Secrets. I'm your host, Josh Gay. In this episode, I'll tell you what Selling Secrets is all about. You'll find out about me, my history, and why I've decided to make this show. So who am I? My name's Josh Gay and I'm from Melbourne, Australia. I'm an advertising executive, ex-filmmaker, and major nerd about all things action and spy films. After studying film and television production at university, I worked freelance in the film industry, working in corporate video and as a drone technician for Australia's #1 aerial cinematography company. I worked on some phenomenal projects for clients like Vice, Tesla Motors, and Expedia, as well as on short films and TV shows. Unfortunately, due to a spinal injury, I had to reassess my career in the film industry and went back to university to retrain in marketing. I now work as an executive at an advertising agency, but I never lost my passion for film, and in my spare time, I study the marketing and advertising for my favourite movies. And this is what sparked the idea for the Selling Secrets podcast. I figured I'm already doing this research and digging deep into the movies I love. Why not share what I find out with an audience bigger than my two cats? Now I know this might sound boring, research, analytics, but I'll do my best to make this an entertaining show as well as informative for you. After all, we're talking about action movies, spies, assassins, and heroes. This is a cool topic that millions of people around the world turn up to the cinemas with popcorn in hand, ready to have a good time for the next 90 to 120 minutes or so, every single day of the year. Now, on the Selling Secrets podcast, I'm not only going to talk about the film itself, but we're also going to talk about film promotion and if it had a successful promotional campaign that led up to the release of the film. So what is film marketing? A key part of a film's success is how well it has been marketed. People wouldn't know if a film exists without marketing. When a film goes into production, it needs to be advertised like any other product and get an audience excited to go and see it at the cinemas. There's a few things that are unique about marketing films and TV shows. Timing is incredibly important. You've got to build up as much hype in the shortest space of time in the lead up to the launch of the film as possible. Another unique factor is that movies, by their very nature, are absolute content goldmines. This makes for some incredibly exciting and powerful advertising campaigns. So let's talk about film promotion in a bit more detail. Film promotion generally includes things like press releases, advertising campaigns, merchandising, franchising, media, and interviews with the key people involved with the making of the film, like the actors and directors. As with all businesses, marketing, advertising, and promotion is an incredibly important part of the film's success because of the inherent financial risk associated with a Hollywood blockbuster. Film studios will invest in expensive marketing campaigns to maximize on the revenue of the film, and generally speaking, the marketing budget tends to be about half the budget for the production of the film. So we're talking millions of dollars that are spent in promoting and advertising the film to ensure its success. Every week on Selling Secrets, I'm going to look at two trailers. The first, the trailer for the film that we're discussing that week, and the second, the trailer for an upcoming film. So let's talk about trailers in a little bit more detail. The trailer is arguably the most important part of the marketing of a film, as it condenses the story, the action, and the characters into a concise package to get the potential audience as excited as possible to see the film. The very success of a movie often rides on the trailer being well received by audiences and fans. You don't want to give too much away in the trailer, but at the same time, you want to whet the appetites of the audience and get them into cinemas to buy tickets. Did you know, of the some 10 billion videos watched online annually, film trailers rank third after news and user-created videos? Now, this episode of the Selling Secrets podcast is going to be a shorter episode than normal because we're not looking at a film in its entirety, nor are we looking at any promotional campaigns in specifics. So what I thought I'd do is have a look at one of the most current trailers that have come out, that is the new TV spot for the upcoming James Bond 007 film, No Time to Die. I'm a massive, unashamed James Bond fan, as most of you who've probably found this podcast have come across from my Instagram account, which is at 007Oz or 007AUS. You'll know that I love James Bond, so it's no surprise that we're going to be talking about the No Time to Die trailer today, as the first trailer that we analyse on the Selling Secrets podcast. So let's have a look at it together. Or a listen, seeing as this is a podcast.
Name? Bond. James Bond.
So you're not dead?
Hello, Q. I missed you.
James?
You don't know what this is?
You ever flown one of these?
Nope.
When you're ready.
You're late.
Only in theaters.
Now, as a lot of people have probably already pointed out, this isn't a new trailer. It's nothing we haven't seen before from the No Time to Die campaign, and we're going to be looking at No Time to Die in a lot of detail because there's a heck of a lot to unpack, but I'm going to wait until the film comes out in October because I think we can't analyse the film's marketing campaign until we look at the film as a whole. So come back to the Selling Secrets podcast in October for my full review of No Time to Die, as well as its entire marketing campaign. But we have this short trailer. Now, obviously, we've already had a couple of trailers for No Time to Die before, but the film itself has been delayed several times due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and we're not going to get into that today. We'll get into that in the No Time to Die breakdown. But I guess this is a new trailer. You know, the marketing engine's got to get going and get going again. After 3 or 4 delays, the film's going to be coming out in the UK at the end of September, in Australia at the end of September, the US in October, and worldwide in October. So they need to get people excited again because we've already seen a couple of trailers. And it's been a couple of years since the first trailer came out. So this is going to get us excited. And for people who aren't Bond fans, and I think this is a really important thing that we need to discuss, Bond fans have already watched these trailers and analysed these over and over and over. But the general public aren't Bond fans. They probably don't even remember the first trailer like we do. So putting this trailer out, this short snippet that's action-packed, it has the tagline Bond, James Bond in it. It has the theme song. It shows the villain, the girls, the gadgets, the cars. This is an important trailer in the lead-up to the release of No Time to Die. So let's have a look at the trailer in a bit more detail. We open on a shot of a garage door opening to reveal James Bond. And I think this is almost a motif that they've put in this trailer because cinemas have been closed due to the pandemic. So we are reopening. And the reason that No Time to Die has been delayed so many times is because cinemas have been closed and the producers, Barbara Broccoli and Michael G. Wilson, have wanted to release the film into cinemas. So by having this garage door opening to reveal Bond, it's just like the cinemas. The cinemas are reopening. Bond is reopening. Bond's going to save the cinemas. It's a very clever motif that they've put in at the start of this trailer. We then see Bond deliver the iconic Bond, James Bond line. But the line isn't as confident as it normally is. He's almost having to re-announce himself. It's like he's saying, "Remember me? I'm James Bond." As David Zaritsky from the Bond Experience YouTube channel said, it's been 5+ years since the last Bond film. It's been 9 years since the first trailer for Skyfall came out. It's been a while, and Bond isn't necessarily in the cultural zeitgeist anymore. We've had several Marvel superhero films, several DC superhero films. We've had a couple of John Wick films since the last Bond's come out, and kids don't know who Bond is. I mean, Daniel Craig was announced as Bond for Casino Royale in the mid-2000s, and the last Bond film was over 5 years ago, as I said. These delays and these long periods between films do make people forget about your character. So by having Bond re-announce himself in the trailer, it's a very clever move. But it's also a humble move that we don't often see from big Hollywood blockbuster characters. After a few more action shots, we get the line from Q, "So you're not dead?" And Bond turns to him and says, "I've missed you, Q." And this again is another nod to the audience, reminding us that Bond is essentially back from the dead. And we've missed him, and we've also missed the characters that surround him. The motley crew from MI6 of Q and Moneypenny and M. These little nods in the trailer are reminding that general movie-going audience that Bond is back. And that is driven home by the drum beats from the Hans Zimmer soundtrack. The da-da-dum that's accompanied by big, bold text. Bond is back. The whole purpose of this trailer is to remind us that Bond is back. He's here to stay, and he's making his presence known. Even the simple acknowledgement of James's name by his arch nemesis Blofeld is again a hello to the character from one of the other characters in the film, and a hello from the audience. Even the line, "You're late," from the Bond girl Paloma, played by Ana de Armas, is a direct reference to the Bond film being delayed. Even though in the film it has nothing to do with that whatsoever. It's a really clever technique that the trailer editor has used to say, yeah, we know that this has been delayed and we're a couple of years late now, but get excited because Bond is back. Then the trailer ends on what we can only assume is No Time to Die's version of the gun barrel, with Bond turning to camera and firing before the trailer voiceover boldly exclaims, "Only in theaters," really quickly, and I can't even say it that quickly. But we know that the producers have been holding out to put this film into theaters. They haven't wanted to put it on streaming, even though MGM is currently in the process of being acquired by Amazon, which could mean that it will go to streaming. But this film is only in theaters, or cinemas, as we call it in Australia. So that's the new trailer for No Time to Die, the upcoming James Bond film, Daniel Craig's last outing as the character. I'm really excited for this film, as any Bond fan rightly should be. I'm nervous because it's been so many years and I wasn't a huge fan of the previous film, Spectre. I felt that it was a really weak film compared to the film that came before it in Skyfall. I'm hoping that Cary Fukunaga, the director, who's a phenomenal talent behind the camera, has absolutely nailed this film. I know it went through a lot of pre-production issues. They fired the original director, Danny Boyle, due to creative differences and brought on Fukunaga at the final hour. So this film has had a pretty checkered history to get it to theatres, let alone to get it on film. So it's going to be an interesting ride, but be sure to check in with the Selling Secrets podcast when the film has been released for my full review, as well as a breakdown of the entire marketing campaign for No Time to Die. Well, that's the first episode of the Selling Secrets podcast. Thank you very much for tuning in and listening to me ramble about marketing and films. I'm sure I'll get better at this as I go along. We'll probably get a little bit more fluid. I hate listening to my own voice, so editing this thing is going to be absolute hell. But if you have enjoyed it, I'd really appreciate if you could leave a review. Send it to your friends. Let them know about it if you think they might enjoy it as well. And please do follow us on social media. You can find the Selling Secrets podcast at Selling Secrets Pod on Instagram, and you can follow me on Instagram as well at 007Oz, which is 007AUS. My name's Josh Gay, and thank you once again for listening to the Selling Secrets podcast. And I'll see you next week for episode 2, in which we'll be discussing the most successful James Bond film of all time, Skyfall. Until then, stay safe, and I'll see you on the next episode of the Selling Secrets podcast.